Hey guys, Mr. Moki Moki here, and we got Michael Walters here today. He topped Nats, and he actually wanted to share his deck profile with us. He got top 64. What deck were you using?
True Draco Demise.
Yeah? Alright. So let us know how the event went, and let's get right into the deck profile.
So basically, this event was pretty packed. There's a lot of zoo players, a lot of true. There's like a lot of mixed variants, right? Mostly, and there's a lot of rogue decks too. So you have to be very prepared for the matchups. And yeah, basically my day went pretty good. I went overall I went X3, and I made top 64 cut. Day 2 was pretty rough as well too.
Yeah, the mat looks beautiful.
Yeah, so pretty much, and I lost in top 64 to pure zoo matchup. So I had trouble with that matchup, just like everybody else does. So
fair enough.
So yeah, so let's get into the deck profile right now. So for the monster lineup, I started off with one Ignis. So Ignis is basically the one that searches or activates the spells from the deck. The best play I've seen a lot of people do, including myself, is attribute a trap, summon him, and you activate the trap to target the Dryden, and then when you try the Dryden, you pop Dryden, and you activate his effect, and then you search for another spell. And then you activate the spell like Heritage, and you just draw 2 cards right there, right? So it's just another basic play. He's pretty good. One Majesty's main. This searches out the monsters in the deck, so you usually want to play that to help get out your True Dracos, so you can set up your plays, tribute summon on their turn. 3 Dynamite. Dynamite Knight Fighter is pretty good because he's the one that searches all the traps. Especially the one that reduces half the attack and defense, and the one that special summons just reoccurring every turn. You want to get those traps on your opponent's turns to tribute summon for Masterpiece. Get that on the board early. 2 Masterpiece. I find 3 very cloggy. 3 will I usually draw into the Masterpiece like crazy. I just said, okay, let me just cut the numbers down to reduce it. And it's also a good fodder for Waterfall. Waterfall is a pretty good utility for the deck because it dumps stuff like Masterpiece, like all the dead cards that you might draw early. 1 Maxi. That's pretty much the only hand trap you run in the whole deck. I don't like playing hand traps in Demise decks because you draw into them and then you have to discard them. Maxi, I saw it a few times, and I don't think I ever drew off Demise, and if I did, I usually just normal summoned it and tribute summoned it. 1 False Dino. This was for the zoo matchups, invoked, Helios, a whole bunch of stuff. It really locks those decks down. They don't have a lot of outs to it. They can run it over with Thoroughblade. They can crash maybe with a Tanky and a Whiptail. They have small outs, but overall, if they don't have they have no outs to it, Barrage and stuff. They try to use Barrage, they can't, right? So that's pretty much it for the monster lineups. So let's get to the spells. Okay. So for the spells, of course, 3 Demise.
Broken.
Yeah, Demise. Ash stops it. I saw a lot of people playing Ash against it today. For me, it was pretty bad, but I resolved it a whole bunch of times. 2 Duality.
Yep.
Duality. You want to get cards in the deck, just thin out the deck a little bit. The only problem is I only ran 2 because I think 3 is very cloggy. I just never had I was never fond of playing more than 2 of these. 2 Lance. The Lance is for stuff for standby phase effects, dinos, all those crazy VFD combos, and Dryden, and just a whole bunch of stuff you can do to it. And you can just activate Diagram, and then they try to pop you with Dryden. You can chain the Chalice, and then and you can just pop the Chalice off Diagram and get your card. Stormforth to get over those outs, lots of those outs Crystal Wing and stuff. Their Masterpiece, a whole bunch of other stuff. 1 Regeki, just your typical board wipe. You need your board wipe for a lot of those decks that I like to spam, Zodiacs. 2 Terraforming. I found 3 very cloggy, so 2 is just the perfect number for me. 3 Diagram. 3 Diagram. This card is really nice. Just back to the terraforming. When I was sighting out, I usually sight out the 2 terraformings and maybe a diagram, and I only need just a few diagrams. Like I don't need the diagram every single turn. I found the diagram to be very helpful at times, and sometimes I found it to be not as helpful as I needed. But it baits stuff like ogre and like ash and dryden pops. It baits a lot of those stuff. But it's pretty good. It gets your play started. 3 heritage. Heritage is like your draw power in the deck too. Like you want to like set up to draw it, and then it gives you that additional tribute summon. You want that to go off. You always want those 2 cards to go off, and then when it gets sent from the field to the graveyard, you get to pop one of their like any back row on both players' side of the field. So like. These are like really good, but the only thing that really stops it is like Cosmic Cyclone, Ogre, Dryden, like just stuff to like stop it, like typical stuff. 3 Disciples. This is your like Daigusto Emerald of the deck. It lets you shuffle all your stuff back into the deck, all your True Draco stuff back into the deck to draw a card. It recycles your stuff in. Like this is another reason why I'm like running low quantities of the other True Draco monsters like Masterpiece and Ignis and Majesty's Maiden, because you can just shuffle them back in and draw them. Just draw your cards. It gets your plays restarted again. For the trap lineup, 3 return. Return was pretty good because it keeps recurring every end phase. So if you have a Masterpiece in the graveyard, you just keep bringing it back, or even when they attack, you just summon it back. It's hard for them to get over the Masterpiece immediately, unless they have enough attack. And then you can like on their main phase, you can just tribute summon this and the Masterpiece to bring out like something else, like a Masterpiece or anything else, right? And then when these get sent from the field to graveyard, it pops a monster on the field. 3 Apocalypse. Apocalypse is one of the MVPs of the deck, I find, because it has the attack of the monsters that on your opponent's face-up side of the field, and you want to bait that as well. They attack, you just half their attack, and then they're just saying like, what am I going to do now, right? So they have to move to main phase 2, and then like you just use this in the damage step, and then there's like what, and then you pop another, like say if you have 2 of these in the field, you activate this, you activate another one, and then you activate the other one's effect to pop the other one, and then you get to pop their monster and half their attack. Or you can just pop any like one of the spells, and then you can pop one of their back row as well. Or you can even use on the monster, right? Or then you can just tribute someone on their turn. Like same thing too, right? Only during the main phase though. For the like one-ofs, 1 warning, pretty standard. 1 skill drain, pretty standard. Imperial Order, I find that pretty standard for me. Trench Tribute, not a lot of people are running this in their main deck, maybe side, but I found it really helpful. 1 Waterfall, as I said earlier, it gets you to unbreak your hands, gets to search your worm type monsters like all the True Dracos. That's pretty much it for the main deck, so we can go on to the side deck. The side deck was pretty standard in my opinion, so we'll start off with the monsters. Basically, another Majesty Maiden. I found it, there is times when I'm maybe facing a mirror match and I maybe need another one, so just have it there to tribute summon. Just for another target. 2 Drill and Lockwords. This is really good against the mirror match. Burn decks as well, if there was any burn decks. I heard there was a burn deck that topped. This locks, even those Pendulum decks, it locks them down for a turn. 1 Witch Raider. This is actually a new card that just came out in the Battle Legends set.
Spicy.
It's a really spicy tech. It's pretty good against the mirror match if they set up back row, and it's pretty good against Helios, maybe Zoo. It all depends, right? What's in their back row.
Did this come up at Nats?
I used it once against a mirror match. It just takes away all their back row, and then like most of the time, some of the mirror matches they don't run strikes and stuff, so it's really convenient. You just nuke their back row, and then you activate Heritage, and then you just draw your cards, right? So it's pretty efficient, especially since you contribute Trap and Monster for her. So she's basically like another True Draco, but the only difference is that it's a hero, and for the spells lineup, 1 Dark Hole. I think I only need it for the mirror match and just other decks, board wipes. 1 Mind Control. I'll explain that in a second. For the trap lineup, 3-dimensional barrier for Zoo and everything else, Rogue.
Too good.
Pendulums, all that stuff too. 2 Unendings. for the mirror match, especially for the mirror match. You want to like it stops a lot of their spells and traps, and they've got to waste like 2 resources basically to get over it. At the cost of 1,000, of course. You're paying 1,000 every time you activate this, but it's really good against the True Draco mirror match. Because you want to like stop field spells, you want to stop them from drawing 2 cards. Even if like that's gonna end up getting this card popped, you still want to try, right? Pendulum decks especially, you just like keep nuking their scales one by one, and then it really annoys them because then they gotta waste resources now to try to find a way to pop it. Yeah, so that's a pretty good card. I would have run 3 if I had found another copy in time, but I did not, so I just had to go with what I had. 2 Rivalry of the Warlords. I think I've said this before in another video. It's a really good card. It stops a lot of these rogue decks from going until they're spamming their things. The only thing it doesn't really stop is Zodiacs because they're all beast type warriors. My whole deck is basically one type except for the 2 monsters that I usually never really have to summon, so this does not affect my deck. This actually locks down Invoke decks as well too when they go, especially when they activate Invocation. They don't have any other spellcasters, like, just warriors and stuff. For my other 2 traps, 2 Apocrypha. This is mainly just for Zodiacs. I just thought it would be really, really good in Zodiacs. It never really came up today because I cited it a couple times and just never saw it, but I still would keep it in the side deck if I had a choice. But in my current build that I've updated, it's not really in there right now. But at the same time, like I said, we'll have to see until the battle list to see if Zoo's still a deck after that. So yeah, that's the side deck. So I had an extra deck as well, and I never really needed it, but it was just there for the thought of it, because maybe I would need it. Maybe not. Maybe I have somehow get monsters on the board to summon them. Some of these cards in the extra deck I probably would never go into, or I can't go into. I just have them there just for show. So 1 Minerva.
Yep.
I just had it in there just for I think my opponent one time, it was a Dinosaur player. I was playing in a Winamax earlier in Friday. I think he summoned the True King guy, and he went to banish my extra deck, and he saw all these random cards, and then he just immediately banished a Minerva, and he banished some other cards in my deck, and he's like, "What are you playing?" Right? So I don't know, it just threw them off, right? 1 Trident. So earlier I said about the mind control. The mind control. This is kind of the reason why for the mind control for the mirror match and for Zoo. Because then give me a second. You take one of their useless Zoo monsters or something on the board, and then you just overlay for a Trident and a Broad Bull, right? So that's why I have a Trident and a Broad Bull, and then you just have a Trident on board, you can just pop anything. And maybe they lost their Trident, or maybe they lost whatever, right? 1 Durandal. This would be hard, not really hard to go into. It's just not it's not really likely to go into it ever, so it's just there. 1 Bulbasaurus. This is just for burn damage. Maybe I'll have to go into it one day. And then we have all the level 6s. So we have Draculus. That's just for the Dynamites. That's actually a really possible play I can make with the deck. I've had lots of opportunities to go into it. I just never chose to. I never found a really reason to go into it, but I had lots of possible plays to go into it. 1 Beatrice. This is just to dump stuff to graveyard to make my cards True Draco Phoenix live, and just to make maybe to make return live, to make other stuff live, just get stuff out of the graveyard. I never really had a use for it, but if they're gonna stop the summon, they stop this, and I can bring out the Pilgrim or the Dante. Dante's Dante's just the Bane. You summon him in defense. He's just there for a defensive thing. Even the Pilgrim's there for an offensive thing because you can't target it. So when it goes to graveyard, I can just rip a card from their hand as well, right? So
you and your Burning Abyss.
Yes. For their level 6, this is just for rank up. I'll never ever be able to go into that. I had a little small Galaxy Engine, and the Galaxy Engine was pretty unique. So 1 Cypher. So basically the Cypher is there. I go into it 2 level 8s, and then this overlay rank up to that. So and then you can rank up to this, and then you can just go into him.
Nice.
So usually what you do is like you want to go into him, say if they're using XYZ's like Zodiac, you steal their monster, and then you rank up into this. Then you detach their Zodiac monster or whatever, pop a card, and then you rank up into this, the Galaxy Eyes, and you have 4,000 beater now, right? And you can just swing over everything, or you can do it like you can do it either way. You can summon him or summon him. It's whatever you want, but I prefer him. And then last card in there is Lancelot. Lancelot, I would prefer going into him over any of these other cards because he can negate stuff. And yeah, I never really needed the extra deck, but I went into it a lot. I didn't go into a lot, but like I had opportunities where I could have gone into a lot. That's a better way of saying it. Yeah, so like the whole day was a good experience. Last year in Nats I didn't do really well, but this year like I found this deck, I picked up this deck and it's pretty good, and I learned a lot. Now, hopefully by the time YCS comes in near the end of August, we can establish what decks are still good and what decks are not. And if this deck is still viable, I will still play it, just with a more condensed build. And yeah, so back to you.
Yeah, now that Link format is here with us, how much do you feel like your build is going to change, or if you haven't had those changes in mind already?
Now that Link format's here, I don't think there's much to change in this deck other than like just the side deck now, because then now you got to worry about what decks are going to be like viable. So, from my opinion, if they don't hit the Zodiacs, I think True Draco Zoo will be a very, very, very good deck in the coming format, and also invoke spellbooks. A whole bunch of stuff I saw in the OCG that will be really good. Yeah. The only difference is that like right now we're at a slower pace because we just got links and everybody's still learning links. So there's no like serious combos until the actual core set comes out. That will be the the game-breaking change in our current Link format right now. Okay. But my deck, it doesn't rely on extra deck, so overall, if they don't hit nothing in my deck, which they probably will, I would still definitely play this deck, and this deck would be probably one of the best decks to play at format.
Awesome. Alrighty. Well, thanks for your time. Remember to rate, comment, and SCRUB-Scribe, guys, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.